Hello, Kiana Sage here from Kiana.com, KIANNAA.com. This is the Bean and Sync 366 video series, and Ra is joining us again for another video. This one is talking about uncomfortable truths. And for those of you who have been following along since the beginning, you're probably already starting to become acutely aware that as you align, it requires you to be more honest with yourself than you probably ever have been. And with that comes some very uncomfortable truths. And what I have found over the many, many years, and I'm still learning, that the more we are willing to see uncomfortable truths about ourselves and about others, that we will align faster. Now, it's sometimes hard to wrap our mind around it because we want to believe the people are how we want them to be instead of the truth of who they are. So, for example, when you decide that you want to be valued by everybody that you're around, right? So you're aligned, you are learning to love yourself and like yourself, you value your own opinion, your own awareness, and you are becoming aware that maybe other people aren't valuing you like you thought they were. And that's a painful, uncomfortable truth. And there's no easy way to unsee it. So when you see your friends and your family or your coworkers for who they are, maybe very unconscious, maybe narcissistic, maybe unkind, not very compassionate, whatever it is, when you see that they are not in alignment with the direction you're going, that can be very uncomfortable. In fact, very painful. I had an instance yesterday where I saw somebody, a dear friend of mine, more clearly than I had ever seen them. And it hurt. It hurt to see them that way because that's not how I wanted them to be. That's not how I wanted to see them. I wanted to see them in the way that I've always known them, which is not how they are. That's how I wanted to think that they were. And those are two very different things. So really when you're becoming more aligned, the illusions that you have and that you think start to become painfully aware. So what I would suggest is when you notice one thing, so let's just talk about value. You want people to value you. When you notice that that's something that you want, like, I really want people to value me. I want them to value me. I want them to value my service. That doesn't seem so bad, right? But you make a decision. Then what happens is your frequency starts to change. When you have made a decision that I'm going to uh, be around people that value me, that means one, you have to value yourself. Two, you have to be willing to see where you're not valuing yourself, where relationships are not aligned to you being valued and appreciated and respected. And that frequency is a much higher frequency than just being around people who are unconscious, right? Who have no awareness of what they even do. But when they're that unconscious, it becomes a dangerous place to be around them. So it's not an easy topic, and I don't want to go too deep into it, but you want to understand that when you make a decision to be valued, it is a frequency adjustment that happens. Part of that adjustment is painful truths, being willing to see what you didn't see before. That means that your thoughts were not necessarily true about people the way you thought they were for maybe a couple of months, maybe years. In my case, it's many, 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 many years. Like, this person I've known since I was a child. And so certainly I have a deep seated history with them of uh, of relationships adjusting and changing. But what really matters today is that I'm looking at being valued. And is that person a good friend to me just because we have history together? No. How do I discern that? By the value of the relationship. And how do you value relationship? Well, you see how you are treated in relationship to reciprocality. And it's a very dicey perception change. But the most important thing is that you are consciously aware of what you are wanting to resonate with differently, because you cannot resonate with a high level of relationship, let's say being valued, until you really value yourself. So you have to be willing to see those uncomfortable truths of those work relationships that you've developed over the years, that you've developed maybe a loyalties to them, and maybe those loyalties are time's up. um, it's not for me to say for you, but it is for me to say that prepare for uncomfortable truths that are happening within yourself. That is part of alignment. That is part of a frequency adjustment. It's not necessarily easy, and most people never even talk about these things, but you experience them and you're like, shit, am I the only one that feels like this? And the answer is no. Everybody's going through changes and adjustment, but not everybody is adjusting to a higher frequency, which is called ascension. If you are coming from a descending energy, and you come into this being and sync way of being, it's an ascension. So your spirals are literally flipping the frequency. So it's going to be quite challenging. But after I've been on this journey for many, many, many years, I will tell you, the more you get comfortable with being uncomfortable, the easier the process will be, because then you're not attached to anything. You're not attached to the relationship or the friendship because of a history. I'm not attached to it, so I could see it more clearly, right? So it's good to not be attached. It's good to see clearly, and it's good to be willing. So happy Friday. Cheers to being in sync. I am Kiana Sage, and I guide people to peace. And that also means ascension. Cheers.